In a previous video, I looked into the possibility that Kinger, this slightly delusional and insane chess piece, had more importance to the Amazing Digital Circus lore than meets the eye. Not only can these speculations be confirmed, but we also have more information than ever to theorize. Join me, theorists, as we explore the creator of this digital nightmare, Kinger. Before I begin this theory, I want to pay my respects to the person who inspired my original theory, Finn the Pony. Finn made a theory on Kinger discussing how Kinger could have made the digital circus, with the many parallels between his introduction and him being in the circus for the longest.
Well, Kinger over there's supposedly been here the longest.
Since then, more information has been revealed. For starters, Kinger is confirmed to be 48 years old, 2 decades older than the rest of the cast. Secondly, the recent episode of the series, The Mystery of Mildenhall Hanor, acts as an analogy for Kinger. Don't believe me? Let's break it down. In the episode, audio recordings are scattered around the manor, acting as lore placement for the story of Mildenhall. However, I see much correlation between the tapes and Kinger. Take a listen.
My name is Baron Theodore Mildenhall. Hunting has been a hobby of mine for as long as I can remember, although one could say it eventually became more of an obsession. The creature you see before you is one I've been pursuing for years. Not quite a man, but not quite an animal. Something unholy.
In the tape, a few things are established. Mildenhall had a hobby of hunting, it became an obsession. He'd been hunting down this thing for years, and he recognized that the thing was different from all the other things he hunted. So how does this correlate to Kinger? Well, hear me out. Previously, I called out Kinger's reference to Lil Runmo.
Oh, thank God you're okay. You didn't experience a game show in there, did you?
What are you talking about?
As this theory speculated about Kinger creating the circus, I included it to prove that Kinger was a game developer. This is verified in this episode.
Man, 7 years of computer science for this, huh?
Kinger did seem to have a knack for programming, so the possibility of him being a game developer is more likely. And going back to the tape, what's not to say that his hobby of his became an obsession? Let alone, the Amazing Digital Circus was different from the rest of Kinger's products, but we'll come back to that later. Moving on to the second tape recording, we hear this.
Although I had shot the creature multiple times in its vitals, and severed its head to keep as a prize on my wall, my troubles were just beginning. I took my eyes off the body for what felt like only a minute. When I looked back, the body was gone. The creature was not dead, and it would be back to reclaim what I'd taken from it.
Like any game development process, the digital circus would need to be tested. As Kinger worked out some kinks with it, he stumbled upon a problem. Beta testers started disappearing. Think back to the line, I took my eyes off the body for what felt like a minute, and when I looked back, the body was gone. The digital circus started kidnapping anyone who'd play it. From the tape, we can assume that the digital circus was out to get something. But what? To understand that, we gotta look at the AI behind it all, Kane. Kane is the embodiment of the digital circus. He's the eyes, the mouth, and the hands of the digital circus. He's also the tongue of the circus, but we're not gonna get into that. If there's anything Kane loves, it's his adventures. And the reason why is simple.
Zooble, making adventures is my art. It's all I exist to do, all I'm good at. And, what you're saying could imply that I'm bad at the only thing I'm good at, and that... that'd be...
Any game you play is meant to be fun. Kane's conscious of this. But as I theorized, the digital circus didn't resonate well with test audiences.
Are you ready to see something incredible? Well, too bad. You're gonna see it anyway.
This he also knows. So he kidnapped them with no exit, forcing them to like the game, forcing them to like him. This likely matched Kinger's mentality, but it costs him more than he could have ever imagined. As Kinger and Pomni descend further into the manor, they find themselves in the cellar, where the final tape remains. It plays as follows.
Things have gotten far worse than I could ever have imagined. My paranoia had driven me to the point where I was no longer the protector my wife and theoretical children needed. Jumping at every shadow, every noise, I ended up shooting the love of my life, mistaking her for the creature. It's ironic, isn't it? In my attempts to protect her, I ended up becoming the monster myself.
While my previous two tapes' explanations were more than educated guesses, this tape spells it out. Kinger was responsible for the demise of Queenie, in a sense. His sudden paranoia and obsession likely piqued Queenie's curiosity and concern for her husband. One day, Queenie explored the game he was creating and put it on before Kinger could warn her, disappearing before him. This was Kinger's trauma. As the tape had said, in my efforts to protect my family, I ended up becoming the monster myself. We don't know the lengths the Digital Circus had made Kinger take, whether he was under investigation, fired from CNA, or even neglected his wife. Whatever it was, this was the last straw. With no one else willing to beta test his game, he did everything he could to patch up any problems he saw with the game or AI, and followed his wife into the digital world. That, my friends, is what I believe became of Kinger. If the manor couldn't get any deeper, Kinger and Pomni are dragged down to digital hell. In a place full of vibrant colors and fun settings, putting HD double hockey sticks feels out of place. Even if this adventure is supposed to be mature, it feels out of context of an analogy. So where does this fit in our timeline of events? Plausibly, Kinger's adjustment to the Digital Circus. We see firsthand with Pomni that adjusting to the circus is difficult, and it's been hinted that Ragatha too struggled.
It's a lot for anybody to go through. Don't take it too personally. I remember how long it took for you to adjust.
Kinger could have had a similar, if not worse, experience. He knows how the game works, and he sees firsthand how the game hurts his loved one and the people around him. While I heavily disagree with the idea that the Digital Circus is an incarnate hellscape, for Kinger, this was a personal hell. Especially this hell. Notice how this adventure is designed. It's completely dark most of the time, and as we find out,
I'm normally not too good with memories. Being surrounded by darkness always brings me back to a certain time.
this level is intentionally designed to make Kinger reminisce about his past. Like us, Kinger has been putting the pieces together.
You know, I'm starting to think...
Even being distraught upon hearing the third tape. And if you don't believe any of this has to do with Kinger, let me present you with my last piece of evidence.
How's your wife, Kinger?
The NPC, the game, the code itself calls out Kinger's inability to protect his wife. The only reason for coming here in the first place. Kinger comes literally face to face with his past demons in this episode. While this video has mainly covered Kinger's fall from grace, there is more than just hope for this character. One detail about Kinger stands out. He's been here the longest, meaning he's outlived those who came before and after him. How is this? One can say it's because he's forgetful, but that's a mental toll due to the circus. I believe it's more simple than this. I believe Kinger got over his trauma. Trauma has always been teased to be an essential part of the Digital Circus's plot, and it was originally stated that these characters would need to face their traumas. As I theorized, Kinger's trauma was that he was the cause of Queenie's demise, a trauma he overcame by sacrificing his life to be there for her, even in her final moments. It's because of this that I believe Kinger didn't just overcome his trauma, but also abstraction. Again, he's been here for the longest for a reason, not due to some dumb luck or other immunity. As I theorized previously, Kinger is the key to saving everybody, but he doesn't need to be outside the game to do it. As we see with Pomni and Ragatha, Kinger acts as a guiding light, helping Pomni overcome her challenges and offering advice, encouragement, and reassurance. With Kinger's help, everyone can overcome their traumas and eventually find a way out of here. That is my theory of Kinger's past, present, and future. Usually, I'd offer my concluding thoughts, but I think I covered everything I wanted to do in this video. But ladies and gentlemen, we have something quite special today. For the first time in over a year, we have shoutouts! Shout out to Sierra Redstone, Camquay Angora Cookies, and Poncho 885. Remember to type the secret word in the comments below if you want a shoutout. This month's video secret word is #checkmate. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember to like and subscribe. Thank you!